I'm a little bit lost on some of his logic right now. So, Young opened up about his life in the NFL, including a return to the game as was a CFL quarterback for Saskatchewan Roughriders, but tore his hamstring and was then waived by the team. But he talks about the highs and lows of his pro career with Sports Illustrated. He also talks about, which this is worth reading, because he talks about his relationship or lack thereof with former Titans head coach Jeff Fisher. This was a very awkward situation when this all happened that apparently Young even plans to, quote, expose in his future book about Jeff Fisher. Now, a real quick insight to this, as I was kind of growing up a Titans fan because when I first got into football, I bought the 2003 season recap of the Tennessee Titans. That was bit with McNair, Keith Bullock, Eddie George. Man, I could recite that entire film. I could just watch it and recite everything. Anyways, Steve McNair was getting towards the end of his career. Vince Young was obviously there to be drafted. The team kind of pushed McNair out. That's why he ended up going to Baltimore, and then they drafted Vince Young. Best thing they could have done is still kept Steve McNair, drafted Vince Young, and let him learn from McNair. That probably would have done wonders for Vince Young's career. That did not happen. A whole lot. That's what kind of got the Titans off to really the end of their dynasty. Is the ownership, coaching staff, general manager, all conflicted with keeping McNair or moving on with Vince Young. Anyways, let's get to the whole point of this. Young went off on some current NFL quarterbacks, and mainly Ryan Fitzpatrick, which we all understand Fitzpatrick is a joke. But for Vince Young, I don't think he really has room to speak here. He went off on Fitz and said, quote, "I hate to name drop, but Ryan Fitzpatrick is still playing. He leads the league in interceptions. He's still blank getting paid. I mean, what the blank is going on?" End quote. Now, while, again, I might agree with Vince Young's take on this, maybe not as heavily, but his take on why, Fitzpatrick is still a QB and all this other stuff, I don't think Vince Young's really the guy to be talking about this because he kind of cursed himself when he called it the dream team back in Philadelphia. We all saw how that ended out. He couldn't get it going as to be a backup quarterback in Green Bay. All he had to do was sit and learn, or not learn, but just sit behind Aaron Rodgers, practice, and he couldn't get it done. So for him to kind of be talking about current NFL quarterbacks who at least have started and been playing, it's a little kind of iffy because Fitzpatrick, he's done a little bit more work than Vince Young has in an NFL career, which is kind of weird to say. But, Vince Young, just focus on your book and healing up that hammy.